I was staring at my boss's family photo on his desk when I realized the woman smiling back at me was sleeping in my bed every night. Let me back up. 3 months ago, I started dating Sarah, this incredible woman I met at a coffee shop downtown. She was everything I'd been looking for: smart, funny, gorgeous, and she seemed genuinely interested in me. Not just the surface stuff, but really interested. She'd ask about my job, my dreams, my family. We'd spend hours talking about everything and nothing. Sarah worked in marketing for some tech company across town, or at least that's what she told me. She had this demanding schedule, always working late, traveling for conferences, weekend meetings. I understood. I'm ambitious too. I work 60-hour weeks as a project manager at Henderson and Associates, trying to climb the ladder under my boss, David Henderson. David's this intimidating guy in his 40s. Successful, wealthy, always perfectly put together. He keeps his personal life completely separate from work. Never talks about his wife or family, just has that one photo on his desk, him with this beautiful blonde woman and 2 kids at some beach resort. Sarah and I had been talking about moving in together. She'd stay over at my place most nights, but she always had excuses for why I couldn't come to hers. Roommate issues, she said. Her place was being renovated. Always something. I didn't push it because things were going so well between us. That Tuesday started like any other day. David called me into his office to discuss the Morrison account. I was sitting across from his desk, taking notes, when my eyes wandered to that family photo like they always did. I'd looked at it 100 times before, but this time something clicked. The woman in the photo wasn't just beautiful and blonde. She was Sarah. Same smile, same laugh lines around her eyes, same small scar on her chin from when she fell off her bike as a kid, a story she'd told me on our second date. My pen stopped moving. My heart stopped beating. The woman I was falling in love with was married to my boss. The woman who told me she loved me was living a completely different life that I knew nothing about. "You all right, Jessica?" David asked, noticing I'd gone completely silent. I managed to mumble something about feeling sick and excused myself. I stumbled back to my desk in a complete daze. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and scrolled through pictures of Sarah and me together. How had I been so blind? That night, Sarah came over like usual, carrying takeout and wearing that smile that used to make my heart skip. Now it made me nauseous. "How was work, babe?" she asked, kissing my cheek. "Fine," I said, watching her face carefully. "Same old stuff. My boss David is still being demanding." Not even a flicker of recognition. No reaction at all. I wanted to confront her right then, but something held me back. Maybe I needed proof. Maybe I needed to understand just how deep this betrayal went. The next few days were torture. I'd sit in meetings with David, knowing he was married to the woman who was telling me she loved me. I'd watch Sarah get ready for work in my bathroom, knowing she was lying about everything. Her job, her life, her availability, all lies. I started digging. I found their wedding announcement online from 8 years ago. Found their address. Found her real Instagram account under her married name, Sarah Henderson, full of family photos and couple shots that made me sick. The breaking point came Friday night. Sarah was at my place, talking about some work trip she had to take next week to Denver. "I'll miss you so much," she said, curling up next to me on the couch. "These work trips are the worst part of my job." Except David had mentioned in our team meeting that he was taking his family to Denver next week. His kids had spring break. That's when the rage hit me. Not just anger, pure, burning rage. This woman had made me fall in love with her while she was married. She was using me as some kind of escape from her real life. I was her secret, her side piece, her dirty little affair. But she didn't know that I knew. And that gave me power. I spent the weekend planning. By Monday morning, I had a strategy. I scheduled a meeting with David for Wednesday at 2 p.m. Then I texted Sarah, asking if she wanted to grab coffee Wednesday at 2:30 at the cafe right across from our office building. She said yes, of course. She was always eager to see me. Wednesday came. I sat in David's office, my laptop open, presenting the Morrison project updates. At exactly 2:25, I glanced out his window toward the cafe. "David," I said, my voice steady. "Before we finish up, there's something personal I need to discuss with you." He looked annoyed. David hated mixing personal with business. "It's about your wife," I continued. His expression shifted to confusion, then concern. "Sarah? Is she okay? How do you even know? Look out your window." He turned toward the window, and I watched his face change as he spotted Sarah sitting at our usual table in the cafe, checking her phone, waiting for me. "That's my girlfriend," I said simply. "We've been dating for 3 months." The color drained from his face. For a moment, the powerful, intimidating David Henderson looked completely lost. "She told me her name was Sarah Mitchell. Said she worked in marketing. I had no idea she was married until I recognized her in your family photo." David sank into his chair. "She's been having an affair with you?" "She's been having an affair with me. Though I guess technically, we were both being cheated on." We sat in silence for a moment, both staring out the window at Sarah, who was now texting, probably asking where I was. "What do you want?" David asked finally. "I want her to face consequences for what she did to both of us. And I want that promotion to senior project manager you've been dangling in front of everyone." David looked at me with something like respect. "Done. The promotion was already yours anyway, you've earned it. As for Sarah..." He stood up. "She's about to have a very unpleasant surprise." We walked downstairs together. I watched through the cafe window as David approached Sarah's table. The shock on her face was everything I'd hoped for. The panic, the terror, the realization that her two worlds had just collided. I didn't stick around to watch the whole confrontation. I'd seen enough. 2 weeks later, Sarah sent me a long text begging for forgiveness, trying to explain herself. I deleted it without reading past the first sentence. David filed for divorce and thanked me for opening his eyes. I got my promotion and a substantial raise. The best part? Sarah lost everything. Her marriage, her comfortable life, and me. She gambled with 2 people's hearts and lost everything she had. Sometimes the universe has a funny way of serving justice. You just have to be smart enough to help it along. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.